Hello, YouTube live stream. Hello. I'm on here to share Matthew 16:21. Jesus preparing for his death. Okay? And I'm on here to share about when people are saying stuff that don't line up with the word of God. Even somebody who say that they follow Jesus Christ because they have head knowledge about Jesus Christ, but they start saying stuff that don't line up with the word of God. Okay? I'm on here to talk about that. And I thank you for tuning in to this message right here. Okay? Because a lot of people out there that say they follow Jesus Christ, but they saying stuff that's not from the Bible. And they acting in ways that they saying stuff that Jesus didn't say. Okay? So that's what I'm on here to share. I am on here to share about, okay? Thank you for tuning in to this message, all right? Matthew 16, 21. Matthew 16:21. Here we go. It says in Matthew 16:21, Jesus preparing for his death. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders and the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the third day be raised to life. Matthew 16:22. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him and said, Never, 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 Lord. He said, This shall never happen to you. Jesus turned and rebuked him, said, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns. Then Jesus says to his disciples, Whoever wants to be my disciples must deny themselves, take up their cross and follow me. Whosoever wants to save their life will lose it. So when people start saying stuff that's not from the Bible, when people say they follow Jesus Christ because they got a bunch of head knowledge, and they start doing like Peter. Peter was telling Jesus Christ not to go to the cross. That wasn't Peter talking. The devil was speaking through Peter. Peter gave the devil a foothold. So when a person says that they follow Jesus Christ, but they start saying stuff that's not from the Bible, when they start saying things that's not from the word of God, that's not from Jesus. When they start saying a lot of things that's not from the word. And it says in Proverbs about being a mouthpiece for the devil. Okay? Being a mouthpiece for the devil. When someone says that they're following Jesus Christ, but they start saying stuff that's not from the Bible. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Idle lips are his mouthpiece. Peter was telling Jesus Christ not to go to the cross. And Jesus says, Satan, get behind me. He wasn't talking to Peter. He was talking to that spirit. So anytime you talk to someone and they say they follow Jesus Christ, but they start saying stuff that's not from the Bible, they want to argue about the Bible, something going on with them. Something going on with that person. Okay? Something is going on with that person. All right? They don't have the concern, they don't have the things in mind of Christ. When somebody say they follow Jesus Christ, but they saying something else. All right? So I'm praying for that person who have a bunch of head knowledge about Jesus Christ, but they allowing the devil to use their mouth. Okay? So I'm praying for them. Okay? Bye-bye.